Hello everyone, my name is Brant Kudrowski and this organic chemistry lecture video is going to cover organometallic reagents. This is an introduction and a description of their formation. So we'll start off talking about what organometallic reagents are. They are reagents that contain a carbon-metal bond. And they're oftentimes drawn like this, with an R representing the carbon group and a M representing the metal group, and a bond in between them. So we're going to focus on the metals lithium, Li, magnesium, Mg, and sodium primarily. Carbon is much more electronegative than any of these metals, and that means that the carbon-metal bond is highly polarized. Carbon bears a strong partial negative charge, and the metal has a strong partial positive charge. That means the carbon portion is going to act as a strong base and as a strong nucleophile, and we'll see reactions with both of these types of chemistry a little later on. The following are the organometallic reagent types we're going to look at. First of all, there are organolithium reagents. These are molecules that contain a carbon-lithium bond, where the carbon portion is partially negative and the lithium atom is partially positive. Then there are the organomagnesium reagents, and these are also called Grignard reagents for Victor Grignard, who is the person who discovered and popularized this chemistry. They have the following structure. It's R with a magnesium and an X bonded to it. So there's a magnesium sitting between the R group and an X group. Here, the R group has a strong partial negative charge, magnesium is partially positive, and the halogen X is partially negative. Then there are acetylide ions. These are molecules where there's a negative charge on the end of a carbon-carbon triple bond, and there's a counter ion. It could be a sodium or a lithium or some other metal that's associated with it as well. Here we're going to talk about organolithium formation. The way this reaction works is you start with an organic halide, Rx. That reacts with two equivalents of lithium metal, and here the little 0 superscript is meant to represent that this is metallic lithium, so it's lithium metal. Those react to form one equivalent of Rli, that's the organolithium reagent, and one equivalent of lithium X, where X is the halogen. In these examples, the R group can be many things. It could be an alkyl group, an aryl group, in other words, a aromatic ring, a vinyl group, in other words, a carbon-carbon double bond, and the X portion could be either chlorine, bromine, or iodine. However, organofluorides don't work. Here's an example with chloromethane reacting with two equivalents of lithium to form methyl lithium and lithium chloride. In this example, I'm going to take phenyl bromide reacted with two equivalents of lithium, and I will get phenyl lithium and lithium bromide. In this next example, I'm going to take a vinyl iodide, which looks like this, and have it react with two equivalents of lithium metal to give a vinyl lithium reagent, which looks like this, and an equivalent of lithium iodide salt. Now let's move on and talk about Grignard reagent formation. An organic halide, Rx, reacts with magnesium metal to form a Grignard reagent which has the magnesium sandwiched between the R and the X group. It's like the magnesium wiggles its way in between the carbon-halogen bond and forms this organometallic reagent shown here. One thing about Grignard reagents that's specific to this reagent formation is it requires an ether-based solvent. That could either be diethyl ether or it could be tetrahydrofuran, just something with an ether functional group in it is required. And in this case, like with organolithiums, the R group could be alkyl, aryl, or vinyl, and the X group could be either chloro, bromo, or iodo. And in terms of reactivity, organomagnesium reagents or Grignard reagents are very similar to organolithiums, but they're just slightly less reactive than organolithiums because the polarity of the carbon-magnesium bond is just a little less than the carbon-lithium bond polarity. So Grignard reagents and organolithium reagents react pretty much interchangeably, but there's just that little difference. Here are some examples of Grignard reagent formations. Here, chloroethane is going to react with magnesium metal with ether as a solvent to give ethyl Grignard reagent. In this next example, I'll have phenyl bromide react with magnesium metal, and again, I'll use diethyl ether as a solvent, and that gives phenyl Grignard reagent, which is the reagent we used in a recent lab experiment. In this last example, I'm going to take a vinyl chloride and have it react with magnesium metal in the presence of a slightly different ether solvent. This time I'm going to use tetrahydrofuran, and that's going to produce this vinyl Grignard reagent. Now we're going to take a look at acetylide ion formation. So acetylides are slightly different. Acetylides have a negative charge on the end of a triple bond, and so they're formed from a terminal acetylene compound. That's a triple bond that has a hydrogen on the end, and then some kind of a base, and it has to be a strong base, but the base will come in, grab a proton off of that terminal acetylene, and then those electrons go to the carbon, and the result is this acetylide ion, which is a strong base and a strong nucleophile. You need a strong base to do this reaction because the pKa value of the terminal acetylene is pretty high. Its pKa is 25, which means it's not a very strong acid. So whatever base you use has to be strong, and the conjugate acid of that base has to be greater than 25 so that the reaction favors products. And we'll go through some examples to show types of bases that will typically work. In this first example, I'm going to show the following terminal acetylene compound being deprotonated by the base sodium amide. That's sodium with a nitrogen, 2 H's, and a negative charge. Those electrons go to grab the proton off the acetylene, the electrons go to carbon, and the result is an acetylide anion, and the conjugate acid is ammonia. That conjugate acid has a pKa value of 38, meaning that sodium amide is a strong enough base to pluck that proton off and generate the acetylide anion. In this next example, I'm going to show a different kind of terminal acetylene reacting with a different kind of base to form an acetylide ion. Here I've got the following terminal acetylene reacting with methyl lithium, which is a different kind of base. It's an organometallic compound where the methyl has a strong partial negative charge, which causes it to react with the terminal proton there and form a lithium acetylide. And here methyl lithium has a pKa value of 50. This is certainly a strong enough base to get the job done. If you found this video useful, check out the next one in the series or watch the prior video, and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. My name is Brant Kudrowski. Thanks for watching.